Hey, it's me, Ashley. This is my first film review for 2013. I will be discussing the film Iron Sky. It was directed by Finnish filmmaker Tito Vuorensula. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, which is a bad habit of mine. The runtime of the film is about an hour and a half. It was released internationally over the summer, like I want to say July-ish, July 25th-ish, which is my birthday coincidentally. I know it was released on DVD in October, and I stumbled across this film a couple of months ago. My husband actually showed it to me, like a YouTube trailer, and he was like, we have to see this movie, and he was disappointed to learn that it was like an international film. But we went to a movie stop, I want to say a couple of weeks ago, about maybe like a week ago, and we stumbled across the DVD, and we were so stoked to watch it. And it was just, it's a B film, but surprisingly it's it's like a really well-made B film. That's my opinion. Let me just go over the premise of it. The premise of it is, it begins with the last brief moments of World War II. There's like a secret space Nazi program, and they evade destruction by fleeing to the dark side of the moon. I know it's a crazy plot. And you fast forward to the year 2018. United States has now a female president. It's implied that she's Sarah Palin, although this chick is has a southern accent, but she looks like Sarah Palin, kind of acts like Sarah Palin. So think kind of Tina Fey, but like a low-grade Tina Fey. And she's up for re-election, so she decides to send a black astronaut, but he's also a model to the moon, for a publicity stunt. And the model is this guy named James Washington, and he lands on the moon, and he stumbles across the Nazi secret space fortress. And the way the fortress was made is it's shaped like a swastika, and it thrives on reserves of helium-3. And naturally, the astronaut's mistaken for a spy, and he's carted away for experiments. And it's actually comical what happens to him. I don't want to give too much away, but he's turned into a white guy, so I'll just leave it at that. And meanwhile, the Fuhrer, the guy in charge, who's played by Udo Kier, he, if you don't know who he is, he's like the pseudo creepy European guy. He's been in movies he was in Blade. He played the guy Camp in the Ace Ventura movie, at the big dinner party. He's that guy, just so you can get a visual of who that character is. Anyways, the Fuhrer, he plays the Fuhrer in this movie, and he uses this as an opportunity to push his invasion of Earth. That's why they built the secret Nazi space fortress, because they're planning on invading us later, I guess as payback. So he uses this as an opportunity to push the invasion of Earth with this big machine called and forgive me for saying this, my German is freaking terrible, the Götterdämmerung. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Anyways, it's this big ass machine. So he has this big invasion by using this machine, and he discovers he could power it with cell phone technology. So he decides to send two agents to Earth. He sends one character by the name of Klaus Alder, who's played by Goetz Otter, and Klaus's girlfriend, who is called Renata, and she's the more idealistic of the pair. Klaus is, very committed to the Nazi culture, and Renata is too, but they have two different sides of the spectrum as their ideas go. And so they prepare to go to Earth to search for cell phone technology. However, when they arrive on Earth, their priorities change. Klaus decides to set plans on his own regarding the invasion, and Renata learns the true nature of her Nazi heritage. And in the long run, she changes sides, and she teams up with the astronaut James to try to prevent the invasion. Meanwhile, while this is all going on and the invasion ensues, the president teams up with I guess you want to say the UN, and they have a UN-style League of Nations, and they prepare for battle. And the battle within itself is bananas and crazy. And overall, it was an okay film. I give it maybe 2.5 stars out of 5. Some good points of the film. like I said, it's like a B film, but it goes on like, it looks like a large scale. Like, it's a B film, you know, you can tell by the plot and the premise is kind of flimsy. But the way it was filmed and the way everything turned out, to me, was really impressive. It was like an impressive large scaled film on a modest budget, surprisingly. So that surprised me a lot. There was some impressive rendering of the lunar surfaces and the sequences, and the set pieces to me were brilliant. And when you go to the Nazi culture, they stick to the 1940s aesthetic, and I thought that was really impressive. And there was sharp costuming, and it creates like a broad world of heroes and villains. And the banter, to me, and like another good point is like the banter between like the president and the UN was like hilarious. Like, to me, the breakout star of the film is the president, the female president. She's played by a woman by the name of Stephanie Paul. And like I said, it's like an impression of Sarah Palin. It's not as good as Tina Fey's, but just the way she interacts with the rest of the countries of the UN to me was fucking hilarious. There are some bad points, you know. It's a B film, so you can't be expecting like Oscar-worthy performances, but I guess the only bad points to me are the humor may be a little hard to swallow. You know, the racism jokes are, you know, a bit trite. But, you know, what do you expect? They're talking about Nazis and they're changing black men into white people. And so, I mean, you know, get what you take. So, and the director kind of does make it hard for you to connect with the characters of the film, especially like the lead. Like, I don't want to call him a lead character, but I guess he is one of the main characters. Especially like the astronaut James. I feel like his humor was a little bit forced. He wasn't like really engaging, and then they try to force a love story between him and Renata. I don't want to give too much away, so those are the only two bad points I feel. And I read some reviews online before I actually watched the film, and there's like, I wouldn't say it was a bad point, but the way the movie ends, it ends on an apocalyptic kind of note. You know, kind of think, if you get a chance, look up go to E-Bomb's World and just type in the end of the world. So it ends kind of like in that way. Some feel that the way the movie ended was like a little uneven with how the film was, because it's supposed to be funny and it ends kind of on a somber note. But I like the way it ended because it was kind of realistic, because, you know, there is a war going on. So for everything to go on and the end result is the end of the world, to me was just, I thought it was kind of a nifty ending. Overall, it was a decent B film, especially with this impressive imagery, and, you know, it's impressive for, I guess, like a low budget film that's like, you know, under the radar. So if you get a chance, look it up. You probably order it on Amazon. It's definitely on Netflix. You can, or just go, like, if there's still any, like, movie places around, you could probably get it on DVD. We got it on DVD for $7. So if you get a chance, definitely watch it.